how we know that the weekend has officially begun. And so that's on the way. Cavaliers tonight in Miami to play the Heat. Probably a lot nicer down there. 8 o'clock is the start tonight here on MMS and on the iHeartRadio app. You know I'm only into sports for the names. And that extends to high school, too. And it extends to college.
I imagine it extends to any situation where there's a fun name.
Any situation where there's a fun name in sports. I came across a guy who goes to Michigan Tech, which is it's in Houghton, Michigan, which is way up in the UP. It's like you take a boat across to Thunder Bay, Ontario. A quarterback, big dude, long hair. His name is Steel Fortress.
Yeah, it is.
Stele. Steel Fortress. That's his name. That's right. If you listen to the show on the aforementioned iHeartRadio app from out of state, maybe you're up in Houghton, Michigan. I bet we have a bureau chief in Houghton, Michigan. I know we've got people up in the UP. I've got somebody in Escanaba. I've got people in the Sioux. St. Ignace, maybe. Jake's in Orange County, California. That couldn't be further away from the UP. Sasha listens in Portland, Oregon. Angela's in Nashville. Rob listens in New Orleans. Brent is in Leavenworth, Kansas. And Misty is a new listener in LaGrange, Kentucky. So thanks. Oh, you know what?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Emilio Delgado died. I didn't know his name either.
I didn't either, but I know who it is.
Do you?
Yeah.
Emilio Delgado died at 81 years old. He was Luis on Sesame Street. He played Luis for 40 years. I remember as a kid, Luis and Maria were probably like the first Latinos I saw on television. Like I went to Catholic school. So I went to school with a lot more like Hispanic kids, because they're very Catholic, than black kids. We just had a handful of black kids in my school. But I went to school with a lot of like Hispanic and Latino kids. And Luis and Maria on Sesame Street were formative for a lot of people growing up watching that show. Emilio Delgado was the guy who played. He retired, I think, a little while ago. But he was Luis on Sesame Street for 4 decades. And he died at home. He had been on hospice care recently. He had blood cancer. And so he died from that. But he would still do stage work. He was a working actor. He'd still do stage stuff before the pandemic. But he was Luis for a total of 40 years.
That's so long to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a steady gig. Good for him.
Well, some of those people leave and then they come back. Like they go, I just miss it too much, or it's a good gig. He left in the mid 80s, but like within a year, he was back on Sesame Street.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This is 1978.
Yes, when
it's me in like first grade,
being indoctrinated with other cultures.
Yeah, stop trying to stuff this into my kid's brain.
You'll love to hear, just like magic, this very nice word makes the clouds all disappear.
I mean, I can't imagine anyone on Sesame Street was getting rich. But to have that gig and to be kind of committed to that gig, A, you got to like kids because you're working with kids. But man, and just to be so instrumental in so many people's childhoods. You know, that show's been on forever, so no matter when you grew up, there was going to be a group of Sesame Street people that you connected with. And for people my age, it was that OG cast. It was Luis and Maria and Mr. Hooper. And for some people, it was Gina, that actress Allison Bartlett, who I think is super hot. She was on there for a long, long time. If you're more of a 90s kid, she was probably your thing. But again, Luis he was intergenerational, cross-generational.
Yeah, I remember Luis.
But I never knew his name.
Yeah. He was always just Luis.
Luis. Emilio Delgado. Yep.
Well, rest in peace.
R.I.P. Luis. I was reading. Speaking of kids, I was reading a story about an assistant principal who got fired because he read a book to a class. Did you see this?
No.
This was in Jackson, Mississippi.
Quit showing off in front of the kids. Here you are, just read. It wasn't even about the contents of the books. Just the fact that he could read.
Looks like we got a reader here.
Get out of here, college boy. We don't do that reading stuff down here.
With your fancy left to right identifying letters in patterns and formations. This is an assistant principal of the Gary Road Elementary School in Jackson, Mississippi. A guy named Toby Price. He was fired. He got a big, long letter that's made the round that is unintentionally hilarious. They basically told him that because of the book he chose, they could no longer trust him. Now, I don't know if this is the case in this instance, but this is going to be the case as more and more of these school boards are infiltrated by these nut jobs who don't want their kids to learn anything.
Yeah.
Right? So this guy read a book to a group of second graders called I Need a New Butt. Now, I've read this book to my daughter. I'm sure a lot of people have. It's a funny book. You can go on YouTube and somebody's reading it out loud.
Of course. The fart. That's what blew my butt apart. Split the thing clean in two. Now I wonder what to do. I need a new one. A green one or a blue one. A fat one or a thin one. A wood one,
fat one
or a tin one.
Yeah, that's not... Anyway. The book itself, if you buy the book, it'll say, great for ages 5 and up. I mean, it's meant to be read to a group of kids. Dawn McMillan is the author. And he was asked to set up a Zoom call with the second grade class. And the principal was going to read to them, and the principal didn't show. So the assistant principal said, I grabbed one of my favorite books that I had nearby and I read it to them. It's just a funny, silly book. He had read it in previous school districts that he worked in before, never had any complaints at all. He's like, I didn't think twice about it. He got a letter from the school district saying it was a lack of professionalism and impaired judgment, and they fired him. Didn't even bring him in. They fired. This to me sounds like they were looking for a reason to get rid of somebody. But anyway... he said, I've been in education for a long, long time, and I've never had anything happen like this. He's like, I've never even been late or had a disciplinary meeting or anything. I can't imagine this is a guy who's going to have a hard time finding another job. But I need a new butt. It's what the Cardi B story. Kids gather round.
Also,
the Adventures of Demi Rose.
The original title for the Huey Lewis song.
I need a new butt. Yeah. First, the fake outrage over CRT, and now they're trying to cancel butt history. Come on, kids, gather around. No, listen, a few months back, I read to my daughter's kindergarten class. They'll have, I think I told the story at the time, they'll have parents rotate coming in and reading to the class, and the student picks the book. My daughter picked a book called The Dinosaur That Pooped the World. There's a series called The Dinosaur That Pooped.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm sure you've seen these. Like, they're
I've
very
heard
popular.
because of you. Yeah. Like you've talked about it before.
Pooped a planet or pooped the world or whatever. It eats too much. This dinosaur eats everything and then poops it all out. So, of course, it's a very scatological book. But, I mean, it's
silly.
It's silly and it's funny. And what kid's not going to love that? And these kids ate it up because I am, first and foremost, as you know, a performer. So these kids, I brought the dinosaur that pooped the world to life.
Now, I asked you this before, and I can't remember, but did you have the book facing them the whole time and read it? Or did you read it and then show the pictures after you read it?
Nope, I did the side thing where I held it up and was able to kind of read it at an angle.
Okay.
But they could all see it.
See, I like
in all of its glory.
I like the read it and then present.
Really?
Read and present, yes. Because they're paying attention, listening to what you're saying, and then they get that little the pictures show up a little bit. They're waiting for that. Each time they get a little reveal.
That hadn't occurred to me. I wanted them to follow along, and I'm reading the words, and they're looking at the pictures. Whatever. but this principal was fired over I need a new butt. But I'm sure he'll be fine.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I'm sure he'll find
I'm sure he'll be
It's probably
fine.
one of those things where he's like, I think I'm all right getting fired from this school.
Yeah. He's like,
else.
guys, I just took this. I
I'm gonna
needed
go
a
someplace
gig,
where
right?
butts are safe.
Yeah. That's how I ended up in Jackson, Mississippi, because I needed a gig. The superintendent declined to comment.
So
He got a big long letter that was making the rounds online.
The reason just to go back to the book, the reason the person needs a new butt is because of a fart.
In that instance, yes.
Okay, so in that instant, they farted so hard it blew their butt apart.
It blew their butt apart.
That's kind of terrifying.
Yeah. But you can go online and you can, somebody will read it to you.
It's going to make me a little more careful about what I choose to eat for dinner tonight because I don't want to have a butt-destroying fart.
Well, listen, you should always be careful about what you're eating for dinner, right?
Well,
But as adults, hopefully we have more load-bearing... Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, right?
Maybe we have...
A crack at the back. Did I do it on the slide? Or on the banister inside?
See, the point of the book is he didn't realize he had a crack. He's like, hey, what made my butt split apart when I was sliding down the
Got
banister or the water
so he's
slide?
doing a little detective work
There
trying
you
to figure
go.
out. So, okay, well, that makes me feel better. And
That's right.
My butt's not going to break because of a fart.
Correct. He's Encyclopedia Brown Eye.
Or when I jumped my BMX? Or with the fart?
Oh, God, is this Australian?
Fat.
Ooh, abort. Yeah. Overseas, it's I need a new bum. But over here, it's I need a new butt.
Fart? That happened next. Of course the fart. Of course the fart. That's what blew my butt apart.
Yeah. Listen, if you want kids to pay attention...
Take that, Dr. Seuss. You don't got any Dr. Seuss where they're talking about farts?
I don't think so. Snoozles in the hoozles, maybe that's code for the same thing. But I don't know how old I need a new butt is. But 2012, so it's about 10 years old. And this guy's getting a lot of attention because he's a well-liked educator, an assistant principal. I mean, clearly he's doing something right. You know, he's not a substitute teacher. A lot of times it's the subs who get in trouble because they do something legit stupid. They'll come in and be like, yeah, I have one class I'm just filling in today, but tell you what, let me put the black kids over here and put the white kids over here.
And you better do what I say because I brought my gun.
Yeah, I'll punch you in the head if it doesn't go my way.
Man, did you see that video? The teacher that slapped a student?
Oh, yeah.
That was
I didn't see
crazy.
that.
Oh,
What?
man. He slaps his kid, and he slaps the kid so hard that his head, like, bounces off the wall, and the kid just collapses.
Yeah.
And then the teacher's like, what? Do things.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So how much money is the kid's family getting? Because I know they're suing. It's not even a question.
I don't know. They didn't get that far yet, but
Oh my
it
God!
just happened.
The kid
The
stood
guy
up
got
and
fired,
said, $60 million, and then he fell back down.
I am not suicidal.
I don't got to go to college anymore.
Alan, I'm out driving Uber and had your show on, and when you guys were talking about doors and wheels, my passenger told me that they lost 10 IQ points during that conversation. That's all? I was shooting for 30. I know some people don't have that to spare, but...
I mean, when people started bringing up like cheese wheels, like we're in risky territory there.
Yeah, it's silly. I don't care. It's funny.
Yeah, it's a fun
Listen, if
conversation.
you've got-
If that's something that makes you lose IQ points, I don't know if you're working with that many in the first
Listen,
place.
I don't have a lot to spare either. I'll be real with you. But listen, if you're feel free to accommodate your passenger,
Now,
of
did
course.
those IQ points go out a door or a window?
That's another good question.
Is the mouth kind of a door?
Sure.
A door to your stomach?
Yeah. The eyes are the windows to the soul.
You call the beehole the back door, so...
Yeah. Everybody's got one of those. Alan, my hemorrhoid burst today, and I also have an anal fissure. I,
All
too,
right.
need a new butt. Oh, God. What is an anal fissure? Like a cut in your butt?
I think so.
Isn't a fissure like a geological term? Like there's something in the ground that is cleft in two?
An anal fissure.
It's split.
Yeah, it's
I have a feeling this isn't
it's a small
something.
tear in the lining of the anus.
The lining.
Yeah.
The lining. So you're telling me that this isn't something I should Google image search.
I wouldn't.
But I'm going. Well, it's all diagrams. It's all. Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. Oh, there's the real one.
Yeah, I don't know how people. What do people do? What do people do? How are people living? Why are these things?
This is people's jobs too. This is what they study. They go,
well, let's see if you could be a
learn how to
proctologist or something. I mean,
sew,
if you're learning it for, that's one thing, but you're learning to heal
that's a bad
someone.
one. Oh no.
But what are people doing to get these conditions? That doesn't sound like something that's congenital. You don't just go, well, I was diagnosed with, I have this thing and the side effect is anal fissures. That sounds like something that happens because
it says
you
here,
are doing something wrong.
Anal fissures may occur when passing hard or large stools.
Oh. Right. So fix your diet.
Yeah, well.
How hard are your turds that you are tearing the lining of your body?
There's fiber queens out there, Oh, that was 20. That's 20 IQ points gone.
Yes.
The fiber queen.
Oh my God. How do you heal an anal fissure? Increase fiber. Yeah. Fix your diet. What are people doing? Oh my God. You got to eat like a tree or something to fix this. Oh, Jesus. Anywho,
I think there's other.
I hope you feel better, sir or madam.
I bet there's a lot more from sticking things up there than from pooping things out. They're not doing the proper stretches.
I guess.
Enough of that, though.
I know what you're saying.
Uh-huh.
You're saying enough anal fissures. Enough foamy shards. Enough fiber queens. Hold on. Hey, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi.
Sarah, are you a fiber queen?
No, actually, these are actually really scary. My husband had one, and we didn't know what it was for the longest time, and he thought it was just a hemorrhoid, and I was like, I don't really think that's normal, and you shouldn't be feeling that kind of way, and stuff like that. His got so bad that he ended up in the emergency room and had to have emergency surgery to fix it because his body was going septic.
Ooh.
So 1 in 3 people will end up with a fissure, and what it is the poop is supposed to go in one direction, but instead it creates its own little path, and it's not coming out of your body, so it ends up having an abscess.
Yeah, it's like retrograde defecation.
Yeah, so it just kind of stays there and creates this pocket and an abscess, and it is really, really bad. So he ended up having to have surgery on it, and then they had to go back in. And
But what did he do to develop it in the first place?
Nothing. The doctor said 1 in 3 people. It's just
30% of the population's walking around with this just happening to them?
Maybe not that bad.
It's got to be dietary.
Wild?
And you plan on staying married to him?
I mean, for right now, I guess. If it
Man.
happens again, I will rethink my decision.
Well, they say sickness and health, and this is pretty sick.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, well, thank you, Sarah, for that update on your husband's anus.
Sarah, that thank you was only from Alan. I didn't love that call.
Oh, my God. Let me get to the Friday get down here. And, let's get down. Honey, look at my fissure. Oh, Christ. All right, listen, the Friday Get Down in honor of the late, great Murray Soul here at WMMS is brought to you by Cleveland Whiskey and delivered to you by one Bill Squire in his own inimitable fashion. Take it away, William.
It's Friday! You got to get down on Friday! Get yourself some Cleveland whiskey and figure out if there's more wheels or more doors. I'm Team Wheels. More wheelers, more wheelers, more wheelers. It's Friday!
wasn't sure if there was going to be an 11th hour
Fisher.
Fisher.
Fisher was. I almost made the switch, but I had already thought of the
Butt cracker.
Yeah.
Hey, the Bill Squire Friday Get Down is brought to you by Cleveland Whiskey. The weekend is now officially underway. Do what thou wilt. ClevelandWhiskey.com. You can find out where they're selling it. 12+ states if you listen out of state. Great recipes and a whole bit. Go to ClevelandWhiskey.com for all the details.